Coach Danny Thompson with the three-point conversion. Tough game tonight, but Jocelyn stood out tonight. She had, coming into the game, she had hit 5 for her last 25 shots from the floor, but she knocked down 7 of 8, 5 of 5 from the three-point line. Can you express your thoughts about how she played tonight and potentially the end of her shooting slump?
Yeah, we talk a lot about consistency with the younger players, establishing that. And she's had a couple of really big games where I think she went 5 for 5 another game, 7 of 8 tonight, 5 of 5 from 3. The thing with Joss is she's the quintessential teammate. She's an eager learner, and it doesn't matter if she's playing or not playing, making shots, not making shots. She's always going to do what's necessary. She's going to look out for her teammates. She shows up every day and wants extra film, extra work, extra shots. And we've seen that work pay off a couple of times this year. And to come in and play the 4 and have to guard one of the best players in history in Candace Parker. I was really proud of Jocelyn in a lot of ways, but mainly it's great to see her hard work pay off. She deserves it.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Walt. So there were a couple of moments when Kylie came in and she was working with Leja trying to run the pick and roll, and it didn't work on those first 2 goes around. But then they tried it again the third time, and they were able to get that easy too. So from your perspective, what does it say about those 2 players and sort of how they work together?
I think a willingness to give feedback and a willingness to accept feedback, right? Those are essential tenets to growing with any team, with anyone. And I think that those 2 are both good at those things. I think Lay continues to come into her own in terms of the communication with the younger players, because it's been a point of frustration, I think, because she's so used to playing with people who just kind of know. They know where to go and what to do. And so this year's been growth for her too in that way, for them in that way. With Shook, she was playing on an ankle that she just rolled. We had her on a minute restriction. I thought she gave us good minutes. I think you could tell she couldn't move quite like she would like to. And in that pick and roll, I saw Lay almost hit her on another one, and she kind of threw the pass a little flat and a little low. So they were able to tip it, but it was the right read. The adjustment that our bigs started to make was to roll a little bit faster as they were hard showing. They were kind of slipping and getting out of that, and we were bending the defense, then finding the weak side for shots. That's something that our team has really gotten much, much better at. The first half of the year, they just did not see that. They couldn't see the weak side open shooters, and tonight I saw a lot of good things out of that action.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hey, Coach, there was that 3-minute stretch at the end of the first half where you guys turned a 20-point deficit, into an 11-point deficit at the half, 12-3 run. What was the difference, and what was the best growth point you saw from that stretch?
Yeah, we Dustin Gray had an idea before the game to, we know how good LA is, and so we knew that we had to throw some different looks at him defensively. And Dustin's idea was to try to throw in a 2-2-1 press, just to slow the ball down and maybe mess up their rhythm a little bit. And that was the difference in that quarter. The thing that I talked about after the game with the players was how impressive it was that they were able to execute that after having 20 minutes to work on it this morning. They've done that continually. Our zone has been really, really good this year, outside of the offensive rebounds, which, that's always an issue with zones. I don't know that that's necessarily a knock on our players as much as it is, it's hard to rebound out of zones. You have to make sure that you talk in those situations. But that unit in the second quarter, winning 19-17, they really brought us back in the game. I thought Paris gave us great minutes, knocked down some threes, kind of kept us alive, kept us breathing, and that really could have gotten ugly. And then that 2-2-1, Dustin's call on the 2-2-1, I thought, really changed the game, going into the second half. And then they kind of, took control back in the third.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Coach. Jocelyn was obviously a great lift offensively tonight, But what'd you see from her on the other end? She had a really tough assignment with Candace Parker, who hit some of those circus shot fadeaways early on, but she looked to have really good energy out there.
Yeah, she knew the task. She knew it was going to be a tough one. What we talked about before the game was forcing those fadeaways. That's what we have to live with. Over pressuring and getting fouls and letting her turn the corner and get to the rim. Candace is so good that if you get her shooting 12 to 18 foot fadeaways in one-on-one situations, the ball's not moving as much for them. They're a terrific three-point shooting team, and so if we could get them to play more one-on-one, we thought that would be to our advantage. I think what happened in the second half is they really got the ball in the middle of the floor. That's something we don't want. We don't want to be in rotations. We don't want to let players get middle, and they got middle too much. A couple times we helped out of the strong side corner because they drove middle, pulled that person in, kicked out for wide open corner threes. There's some stuff that we got away from that, I think part of it is a really good team and really good players. And part of it is that we got just a little sloppy defensively with our man principles, our drop defense and our pick and roll also got sloppy where we left the ball. And then a couple times we'd step up and then Chelsea just dump it off to somebody wide open. We didn't drop down and help the helper. It was some basic mistakes that we've struggled with early in the year, kind of cleaned up and regressed a little bit. But yeah, all in all, Joss's effort was really good. Candace was 6 of 10, 7 assists. She's capable of 30, 10, and 10. But I do think that the minutes that Joss gave were really strong. They were really solid, and we needed her to do that. That could have been, anytime you're guarding Candace Parker, that could have been ugly. So she did a great job.
Last question, Azar Johnson.
Hey, Coach. I had a quick question. When you out of your last 5 games, the four teams that you played are playoff teams. Even though the losses are tough, you guys are hanging in there most part of the game. You're finding ways to come back. How much does games like this help you in the future coming down the line when you have a lot of young players playing right now that maybe aren't really ready to play? I mean, they're ready to play, but they're just not experienced.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. This experience is invaluable for those players. It's invaluable. It's really tempting to leave, the starting group out there all the time. And, it's been something that I've fallen back to a lot, probably, like I said, before the game, maybe a little too much. And I think tonight we did a better job getting, Megan Walker some minutes and letting her play through some things. And to your question, that's the name of the game. With these younger players, it's invaluable experience. And so the flip side of, the record isn't where you want it to be, but the flip side is that now Jocelyn and Megan and Jazz and all these players, they've gotten Kylie, they've gotten all these minutes in games that had we had our whole group here, they just wouldn't have gotten those minutes. There's just no way. That's just not how it works for rookies normally. And so for them to get to really, learn and hopefully it speeds the development from, normally it takes 1 to 3 years for you to really get those kinds of minutes and get to play in crunch time and see what it's like to have a lead, and have to protect it, or see what it's like to be way down and have to fight. All these different situations, the only way that you get better at them is experience. So that's why I say it was such a good question, because it's something we talked about before the season, that was going to be the most valuable component of this season for them, is actually just getting to be on the court and play those minutes. It's really, really big for us.
Thanks, Coach. Next, we have Jocelyn Willoughby. Questions. We'll start with Danny Thompson.
Jocelyn, Danny Thompson with the 3-point conversion. Tonight, it seemed like the shot was going in. The last 5 games, you were struggling shooting the basketball. How good does it feel to see the ball go in the hoop, especially go 5 for 5 from the 3-point line tonight?
I mean, it feels great. I think, obviously our efficiency has gone down in the last 5 games, as you said, and mine individually. And so the past few days, we've gotten a lot of shots up. And so it's always a good feeling to have your work be rewarded and to see the results of it. So tonight was one of those nights. Hopefully moving forward in our final stretches of games or stretch of games, we can keep it consistent and continue that role.
Jackie Powell.
I can't hear anything if you're talking.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Good. Lovely. Okay. Congratulations on a great game, first of all. I wanted to ask you something about what I heard a teammate of yours say, who's currently not with the team. Beck Allen said something recently. She said, "I think you grow with change." How do you react to that phrase, and how does that theme relate to what you've been through this season?
I mean, change is hard, right? And I don't think that anybody grows without going through hard things. And so change, challenges, those are often stimulants for growth. And so I definitely see that this season. As a team, we've had so much adversity, from Sabrina going out to just being in the circumstances of the bubble, different changes in lineups, and just trying to figure out who we are, our identity as a team, and be consistent. We're a young team. There's been a lot of change, a lot of adversity, but I think throughout the process we've had growth, and we're looking to continue that. So that quote definitely resonates with me, and I think it's true for anybody.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hi, Jocelyn. Congratulations on a strong game tonight.
Thank you.
You got to experiment with some different lineups out there tonight a little bit. You returned to the starting five. Megan Walker played what I believe was tied a season high in minutes. So what was it like to play with some different lineups out there tonight?
Yeah, we're trying different things, and so I think the different lineups present different looks and different challenges for other teams who may not be prepared for them. So it's exciting. It kind of keeps other teams on their toes, not really knowing what to expect, especially when we change what we're doing with those different lineups. And so I think that's a strength of the team. As we grow individually and become more comfortable and confident in what we can do, I think the different lineups will continue. And so it'll just be a challenge for other teams to prepare for and to play against. And so I think that'll be something to look forward to moving forward, I think.
Miles Early.
Hey, Jocelyn. You shot really well offensively tonight, but I also love seeing your fight and effort on the defensive end. What kind of prep goes into playing a vet like Candace Parker, who's capable of hitting those one-legged fadeaways from anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of pride in both ends of the floor, but definitely on defense. And so going into this game, preparing for Candace Parker, or any vet, but any player really, you're going to know that they're all-stars, they're going to score, and they're going to go to some of their go-to moves. So it's about knowing some of their tendencies, not getting too flustered when they do hit their shots, because, they make a living off of certain moves. But at the same time, I think one thing that's helpful, knowing that my teammates have my back. And we're going to, give some help here and there. But do what you can and just take pride in the defense. But there's I don't think, special key or special mentality. It's just go out and work as I do every night against any player.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Next, we're going to have Kia Nurse.
Thank you all.
Danny Thompson.
Danny Thompson with the three-point conversion. Jocelyn had been struggling shooting the basketball the last couple of games. She was shooting 5 for 25 in the last 5. Tonight, she knocked down 7 of 8 and 5 for the three-point line. As a teammate, how good does it feel to see Jocelyn finally get one of those breakthrough games where the ball goes in the hoop?
Yeah, it's awesome for her. Obviously, Jocelyn, for us, is one of the best defenders that we have on our team. She's extremely hardworking on and off the court, and she's a great person. So every time that they have an opportunity or someone has an opportunity on our team to have a breakout game like that, it's really exciting. And she shoots really, really well in practice, right? And I think that's just translating into the game now. And I think that was really, really awesome to see, and it was fun to be a part of.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hi, Kia. Thank you for joining us. You got to experiment with some different lineups out there tonight. Megan Walker had a season high in minutes. You had Jocelyn back in the starting 5. Kylie Shook got some extended time. So what was it like playing with the different lineups out there tonight?
It's just experimenting at this point. We have nothing to lose. So I think it was really awesome to be out there and have different lineups out, play with people that have different strengths. And obviously we got a lot of really, really good looks on offense today. So they moved the ball well. We got out in transition. And I think that was exciting to see as well.
Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Kia. So your teammate Beck Allen, who isn't here right now, said something really interesting when she was interviewed by her Spanish team. And she said, "I think you grow with change." So how do you react to that? And how does that theme relate to really the theme of this season?
I mean, I think we're continuing to grow every single day. This wasn't necessarily the situation that any of us probably expected to be in. We have a lot of change in the sense that we have a lot of new faces in the league. So, I think we're just continuing to grow each and every day. Things change here in this bubble every day, and we're continuing to get better. So nothing stays the same. Everything's impermanent in this life, and that's just trying to figure that out and ride with the waves.